Hey y'all. So I am back with another episode of Halima's Universe. Welcome to the channel. If you have not met me already, my name is Halima Muhammad and I am the host of Halima's Universe. And there will be like a specific topic. I just literally come on here and talk about what inspires me. So it's going to be really, really fun. Just never know what you're going to get. I am a GenXGemini, so you do the math, okay? But I wanted to talk about something today because I've been like manifesting my reality on pure delusion, okay? So, and like I said, the other day I had met with some high-tech professionals, and one of my colleagues made the statement that you sound like a founder. And like I said, that could go either way because we all know that people that come up with ideas tend to be ridiculed, criticized, told that they're crazy, how dare you, who do you think you are, all the things. And they also recognize their brilliance as well, especially when they're able to pull off the set thing that everyone else was saying they was crazy about. So I fit into that category and I'm so proud to be in that category. And I'm sure once I accomplish the goal that I have, I'm going to be accomplishing more. So we have some more crazies to come. Anywho, so today's topic name is called Delusion is the secret to success, but no one wants to admit it. We live in an era where everybody wants to keep it real. I remember like dating people and that was their thing. You have to be realistic. And it would like really, really make me want to rip my skin off because I was like, okay, but that's not really working out for us being realistic right now, right? So, okay, I'm sorry. I have a meeting in 40 minutes and I got a reminder. So anywho, I used to like really just be like feel down with that conversation because, here I am. I want to create things that are absolutely trend-setting and fabulous and life-changing. And then I have someone who is anchored to the 3D telling me that I need to be realistic and that I was doing too much. So, needless to say, that relationship or those relationships did not last because they were not aligned with where I was going. And yeah, I can admit the things that I probably would come up with talking to them would be absolutely bonkers. However, that's how industries are made. That's how greatness happens. I study people like Alexander the Great and Ford and Carnegie and all that. So like, Oprah, so yes, these are people that said that I'm going to do a thing that is not normal to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. So it's only a few people that has the gut to do that. But it takes a lot of delusion because the delusion is, here it is. This is the standard. This is what has occurred. And here you are becoming disruptive. And everything in its power to keep the status quo is going to fight against you. So you have to be delusional, okay? So let me tell you something wild. Like most successful entrepreneurs are low-key delusional. Like if they're successful, they are delusional. They have family, they have friends, they have people that are in the industry telling them, you sure you want to do that? Do you want to be safe? And a lot of times it could be completely out of love, right? Because they want to keep you safe. They don't want to see you disappointed. They don't want to see you hurt by rejection. But with success, you're going to have way more rejection than you have success. Like, let's put that out there, okay? The delusion helps you keep pushing forward, okay? Like, for example, if you go to a bank to get a bank loan and that bank tells you no, or you stopping at that one bank, you're probably going to go to 300 banks just until you get a yes. And someone may say yes. Or by that time, you done build up some tenacity where you'll be bold and start a GoFundMe, or you'll go out and, in circles with people that have disposable income to invest. But your mindset, like now you know the language, now you know what no's look like, and you know how to, better craft your pitch and all the things, right? So it's a learning process. So it's going to be way more. Einstein, he failed at the light bulb, 10,000 times before he got it correctly? 10,000 times. We are afraid of one no. That makes no sense. You're going to get no. You're going to get no, and that no may turn into a yes later because they just want to make sure that you were in it for the long run. Advertisement, how many times you have to touch a person? 7 times before they even open your link. 7 times. It's rare that someone opens your link the first time. 7 times. And it can be frustrating because you're paying dollars. You got to post, you got to do all these things. But that is the norm, okay? And it's probably more now since so many people is advertising stuff, you know? So many people are in the creative field. Hey, look at my program, look at my product, look what I'm doing. Even if they just drinking coffee, look at me, right? The average attention span is 8 seconds. So I'm sure that number is probably way more than 7 times because they're able to stroll up and, you know, go to the next thing, right? So it's not stupidity, it's strategically being naive. Okay. So you know what you know, like, you know, okay, like I have this big project that I'm working, okay, that I'm the founder of. I've never done anything like this in my life. All right. I don't even know of a woman of color that has done anything like this. Not saying they're not out there. I just know I don't know anyone. Okay. So I'm far from a stupid girl. People that know me knows there's nothing stupid about me, but I much rather play naive, play green while I'm in this process, because the moment I say to myself, oh my God, boom, 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 and I start comparing myself to other people that are doing it on a bigger scale, then at that point, I'm going to start thinking in logic. And that logic is going to halt me in my tracks. And I can't afford that. Okay. This project was put into my spirit during a time where I was like literally trying to heal my body, and I'm just being obedient. And that's all I can do. Okay. I'm learning this year to say yes to what source is telling me to do, even if it's scary. I'm doing it. Okay. So psychologists call it positive illusion. I call it survival, because you have to survive those hurdles. Like, we all know, like, we don't want rejection. Like, I literally, like, part of my delusion is to literally go through life where everyone just say yes to me. And of course, I know that not necessarily is going to happen, because people have free will and they can do what they want to do as well. Like, I have no control over that. However, that is part of my delusion. So if that can work out, great. But I have to survive the no's. I have to get out of my feelings. I have to not take it personal. I have to say, you know what? It's a no right now, because there's things that I need to add, or there's more research that I need to do. I was on a call with some amazing women, high level women in the AI industry, tech industry, and they, you know, it would have been perfect if they would have just said, oh my God, this is a brilliant idea. Let's all just pour our money into it. But they gave me some really amazing feedback that made me go back to the drawing board and tweak my idea so it can be seamless. And then things that I didn't even think of, I'm now implementing, you know? So I'm just like, wow, you know, I didn't know I had to do a fundraiser. That literally came out of that call, because donors and sponsors are going to ask, how much money did you raise? They don't even want to know how much money you took out of your bank account. Okay. They want to know, how much money did you raise? Like, meaning, how many other people, you want me to buy into this? How many other people are buying into your vision? Okay. Like, that was mind blowing to me. Like, oh, really? They care about that? Like, yeah, because they're about to buy into your vision and they want to see who else is buying into it, you know? So I didn't know. I started the fundraiser. I was obedient. I don't like begging for money. I don't like asking, however, I was obedient and I did what I was supposed to do. Okay. So why is it optimistic ignorance? You don't know how hard it's going to be. And that is actually a good thing, because if you knew how hard it was going to be, would you even start? Would you even bother? If you knew the path that you are carving out, like, think about it. There's a path of least resistance that so many people walk down. So there's a road, there's a pavement. So now you could just stroll, you could walk in hills, you could do your thing, because there's a paved road. Compared to a road you actually have to carve out, you have to dig. You have to, it's rocky and there's dirt, there's holes, there's all this thing. It's not nice and neat and stuff like that. You're falling in ditches and all kinds of things. You're in the jungle, basically. Would you even go if you had those two roads? If you knew what was on this side, compared to what you already know on that side. All right. So if you did know the full truth, you might not even start. Okay. If that's blind boldness that gets you moving, you don't need all of the data. You just need the momentum. All right. So like I said, I was put in my spirit to do it. I literally created a presentation. I got with one of my colleagues. Hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you know some people that I could talk to? And she rallied up the troops. Okay. And that was the very first curl I have. I have another meeting today at 10. I'm setting up meetings with some government officials as well, because a lot of information was given to me to strategically put my conference, in a way where the government can be involved. I didn't even think of that. I honestly didn't think of that. My mind went to this is a brilliant idea. It's put in my spirit. Someone's going to give me some money to make it happen. And that was it. Not realizing how I'm going to go about doing that. But imagine if I knew all of the data points. Imagine if I knew, I probably would have fought, source on it. I'm not doing that. That looks like that's too hard. I got too much to do. I could be doing this, but the bigger the goal is, the greater the reward. We all know that. Okay. So why it works. Positive illusion helps you underestimate risks so you can take action. That's what I just spoke about, right? Cynicism feels smart, but it is paralyzing. So you have to be very, very careful. One of the women that I was speaking to, she said, I don't mean to be so real. She said, but I have to do that so you can understand the things that you need to do. She said, I think it's a brilliant idea, but these things are going to be in front of you, and this is what donors are going to ask for, and you're not going to have the answer, and then they are going to know that you don't know what you're doing. So I got to do that for you. So it's great to have people like that around you, as long as they're not just trying to shut you down altogether, like you can't do it. But if they're giving you constructive criticism and constructive cynicism, then that will work. And even after all of that, I said, well, I'm still going to do it. And she said, I know you are. She said, I just want to make sure that you do it right. That's all I needed. And I got to regrouping and getting some things together that I did not think of, right? So optimism builds empires. It gives you the courage to begin. We got to look at all of the leaders of industries. Far too many people talk to people that have not done anything. Everyone has an opinion. Just like everyone has an ass, right? Every single person has an opinion. And even though I appreciate the opinion, I am going to look at what you have done, okay? If you have not conquered certain things, then I'm going to take your opinion with a grain of salt. I'm going to say, well, this person really cares about me. And okay, but what have you done that I can say, okay, this person done this and they said that it didn't work, and this one. Some people don't even try to do anything. They literally live a life of mediocrity, and they have all of the opinions of the world. So be very careful with that, and go seek advice to people that are already where you want to be. Okay. So first timers win because they don't know what they shouldn't do. Now, I have a story where there was a chess master, okay? And the chess master was sitting there, they wait for the person to come up, and there was someone that had never played chess before, sat down with him. He knew this person never played chess before, right? So he just knew in his mind he was going to blow that person out. This is an easy win for this chess master, right? However, the newbie actually beat him, actually checkmated him. And he was confused. And what the moral of that story is that the new guy did not know the rules. So he didn't play by them. He just made moves according to what he felt he should have made. Like he knew how to, he knew the rook and, like you can't like deviate from that. But he didn't like have this strategic plan. He didn't practice and, anticipate the next move. He didn't do any of that. He just, I know that I'm supposed to, as long as I keep blocking this other guy, eventually one of us is going to win. He didn't have a real expectation. That's why he was able to win. Where the chess master was overthinking, like, I know I can do this, and I have this system in place, and if I do this and do that, but did not anticipate that he was actually a wild card. Okay? So what happens when you know too much? You start calculating everything. It's called analysis paralysis. I am good for that for the things that I have already known in my past. Like I will overthink things. And now I'm like learning to just go ahead. Like even when I like create my artwork, I used to like overthink it. Like I literally would spend 12 to 14 hours a day just creating because, it'd be one piece of artwork that I'm like, oh my God. And, it's AI art and you're doing everything with software. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a piece and I can see the potential in this piece. And, my mind would start going to try to, and so I would spend like so much time, creating. And then what I'm realizing later in my journey, when it comes to my artwork, the best responses, the purchases that I get with my artwork are literally work that I just kind of say, okay, this is amazing, because all my work is amazing, but this is amazing. Boom, I'm putting it out there. And that usually takes less than an hour. Okay. So you wait for the perfect time. Okay. We wait till we are older. We wait till we quit the job. We wait till we get married. I remember I had the dumbest idea that I wasn't going to be uber successful until I find my husband because we needed to be a power couple. That was like really stupid. But that was me saying, let me wait till the perfect time. Lo and behold, I never remarried, I only cut my nose off to spite my face, like my grandmother used to say. Right? So you talk yourself out of the moves that beginners would just try. So you got to kind of like just put yourself out there, even if it looks wrong, even if it looks crazy, even if you don't have all of the setup, you don't have the mic, you don't have the right camera, you just have to do it. You have to do it raw and dirty and wrong. You have to fail your way to success, right? You're going to get criticized. You're going to get feedback. You're going to be like, well, why would you put that out there? It looks so grainy and all, but then you're going to get people that's going to appreciate it. God, I remember when you first started and now look at you, but you have to get the momentum going. Okay. But logic doesn't build dreams. Bonus does. Okay. Those that like, well, I'm just being logical, literally look at where they are, they may be okay, they might be decent, but are they great? Okay. Because they're using logic and logic's actually counterproductive to being great. I remember I studied Alexander the Great and he wanted to conquer the new world. And I want to say, I believe they believed the world was flat, but he wanted to go beyond what they felt like that flatness. And, he ended up, just conquering all these different new lands. And he was like in his 20s, his mother was delusional, I mean, she the one called him the Great, right? And so it was just like, amazing. So he ended up doing that and became Alexander the Great, right? So, more of us need to have that sort of mindset. All right. So if you are underqualified, good. That's your edge. All right. Don't wait to be perfect. Just launch. Stay just delusional enough to believe it's possible, because sometimes not knowing how hard it can be exactly is what keeps you going. All right. So I hope this helped today. I just want to make sure that I touched base with you guys. I may check in later because I do have some news that I need to report and update and all the things. However, I just want to make sure that I have a moment with you before I start my day. If this hit, please drop a fire sign in the comment Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I'm dropping these with spiritual moves, and trust you don't want to miss it. And if you're building something wild right now, let me know. I want to hype you up. All right. Have a great day. Bye.